Hi, this is Coach Colette, host of the Start Within podcast, and welcome to this week's episode of Financial Fridays. Well, today is Friday, January 15th, and it is the actual birthday of civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. Even though we may be celebrating the holiday on Monday, today is his actual birthday. And as I was reviewing the momentous I Have a Dream speech delivered on August 28th, 1963, on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, I am struck by how much of what Dr. King shared in his speech is still true today, January 15th, 2021. He says in his speech, "The Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land." So some of those conditions still exist today. Do we still need to talk about and expose this shameful condition? I believe yes, we do. Dr. King says, "When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note, insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds." It's so remarkable to me that today, again, January 15th, 2021, that so many aspects of this excerpt from Dr. King's speech are still accurate, are still happening. I think it's very important that we recall his words and that we really do examine our shameful condition. It does not mean that we have not made progress, as I mentioned in last week's episode. It does mean that we still have work to be done. As you are taking time for yourself this weekend and on the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, take some time to reflect on his words, take some time to reflect on his message, take time to reflect on his vision, take time to reflect on his dream. And consider, what is it that you can do today to help further his dream? That's all for me for now. Get ready and listen up to today's tip from Singh.
Hello everyone, this is Singh, aka Investing of the Investing Podcast with your weekly financial Friday tip. January 31st is the last day to register for health insurance through the U.S. Health Marketplace, depending upon your employer or if you're going to pay for health insurance yourself. So now's the time to look into that and make sure you get your plan squared away for this coming year and do some background research on which plan fits for you. With that said, that is your weekly Financial Friday tip, and I'll speak to you soon. Have a great week and great weekend. Bye-bye.
Hey, it's Coach Colette. You may have felt like you just survived 2020. What would it be like to thrive in 2021? Notwithstanding the external forces over which you have no control, what would it be like to make even a small shift this year? Can you imagine what it will be like at the end of this year when you reflect on all that you have created? It is possible when you start within, and I'd like to help you do it. You can visit my website, startwithincoaching.com, and at the top, click Start Here to schedule your complimentary activation call. We can talk about what's going on in your life right now and where you'd like to be. So go to startwithincoaching.com, click Start Here, and let's start your journey within. Hey, it's Coach Colette again, bringing you this week's Unplugged segment. Earlier this week, there was a new moon, and you know, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, that I love to follow the moon phases and use them as opportunities to reflect and to start within. And so the new moon is about dreaming and envisioning what it is that you would like to manifest. And I have to be honest, and this is the place, right? Because it is unplugged. So I might tell on myself a little bit here. As I always say, this is the time to be easing into your dreaming and visioning and planning for the new year, not feeling like you need to get everything set on January 1st. And to be honest, I've been on several calls in the past couple of weeks where people are already talking about, my word for the year and my intentions for the year. And I'll admit that I have felt a little bit indifferent, maybe is the right word, about doing my visioning and planning. And as I've begun to dig deeper and reflect on it, I've realized that there is some fear underlying it, perhaps because of the past year. I have this sense of trepidation and uncertainty about setting intentions, because we know last year the rug got pulled out from us in so many ways. That said, I have had some prompts that I thought that I would share with you that were connected to the new moon to help with reflection. So the first question is, what have you been taught to believe about your value at work, in the world, in your family, in your relationships? Pondering on your value can be a great exercise because it can help you to determine or to assess how much of your value do you believe comes from external sources as opposed to internal sources, or how much of your value comes from within? How much of your value comes from just you being you? And so if you look at that, is it time for your belief system about your value to change or to shift? The suggestion is to go deeper and to reflect and ponder and consider, what is it that brings you joy, inspiration, motivation? And then think about, how is it that you will create opportunities to have more of these experiences during the coming year? So set aside some time this weekend for reflection, for consideration. Create some quiet time just for you. And get ready for downloads or messages that may come to you as a result of this reflection time. And again, we all receive messages in different ways. Some of us may hear those messages. Some of us might see those cues. Some of us might read certain passages and have then an aha moment. Allow yourself this moment of quiet reflection, this moment of going within, to allow your creative inner wisdom to surface and give you some more thoughts and ideas on how and what you would like to manifest. Allow this space, allow this freedom. Give yourself permission to go deeper, to start within, and allow your inner wisdom to share with you thoughts, ideas, suggestions, cues, prompts. Take what you receive, and remember that when we do inquiry, it's not always immediate that we receive our answers. So allow yourself time and space to ponder, reflect, ruminate, and then be open to whatever wisdom surfaces for you. That's all for me for now. Take care, have a wonderful weekend, and we'll be speaking again soon. So what is your takeaway from this week's Financial Fridays segment? What might you do differently around your money and your mindset? For more financial advice, you can check out Suki's podcast, Invest Singh, where I also share tips on his Wellness Wednesdays segment. If you enjoyed this episode and haven't already subscribed, you can do so on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Coach_Colette for more inspiration on personal growth and wellness. Tune in next Friday for another episode and get ready to start within to finish strong.